Alright, we're going to do lesson 53, and in this lesson we're going to talk about a decimal chart that will help you remember where to put the decimal point if you're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, all that kind of stuff. We're also going to talk about reducing fractions and changing fractions to mixed numbers. So this is a lot of review of what we've been doing lately. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. Alright, here's the first part of the chart. Here we have operation, we have our memory cue, and our example. Now, if we're adding or subtracting decimals, you need to line up the decimal. Okay? So here's an example of that. Let me grab a blue marker. Say we have 7 and 45 We cannot add 4/5 or 4 5/10 like that. You have to take the decimals and they have to be right above each other. So that would be 4 5/10. If you need, once you line it up, then you can add them. So add a placeholder 0. 5 plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 5 is 9. Bring your decimal straight down. 7 plus 4 is 11. That's an example of what to do when you're adding or subtracting fractions. If this was a subtraction sign, you'd line up the decimals the same way. Now, what do you do when you multiply? Well, when you multiply, you don't necessarily need to line the decimal up. The decimal can be lined up, but you don't need to go out of your way to line it up. Alright, so when you multiply, the mnemonic that you want to use is times, then count. And, oh man, this board is not very good. Sorry about that. So you want to times and then count. And you count to see how many, however many times the decimal's been moved over on top, you want to move the decimal over that many times on bottom. So let's do times, then count. So say we're doing 3 and 14 and we're multiplying that by 5. This would be a circumference problem. So you take the diameter and you multiply it by 3.14 or 3 and 14 hundredths. 5 times 4 is 20, carrier 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. 5 times 3 is 15. So that's the first step, times, and then you count. Since the decimal has been moved over 2 places on top, that's 1, 2, then you want to move the decimal 2 places over on bottom. 1, 2. So that would be 15 and 70 hundredths, or 15 and 7/10 if you want to reduce your decimal number. Alright, so there is what you need to do when you're multiplying. Alright, so the last piece of the chart I want to talk about is when you're dividing by a decimal. When you're dividing by a whole number, you just move the decimal point straight up into your quotient area. But if you're dividing by a decimal number, you're going to use the over-over-up method. And the reason why we go over is to make the divisor, which is the number outside of the long division. So say this is 3/10, and we're going to say 4 and let's say 9/10 are the dividend, and this is the divisor. So basically, you're going to move the decimal over as far as you need to move it. In this case, you're only going to move one jump. But if this was 3/100 instead of 3/10, you would jump as many times as you needed to in order to make this into a whole number. Okay, so let's just do that. 3/100 or 4 and 9/10 divided by 3/100. So you're going to do 2 jumps. That's your first over. Over. Your next over. Over. Now notice, since I jumped 2 places here, that means I'm going to have to jump 2 places here. And then you're going to go straight up. You're going to move the decimal point straight up. Notice there's a blank right there. So if you have to, you can add a placeholder 0. Alright, so that's called over-over-up method. So since I move the decimal 2 places over, I no longer need that 3. So now the decimal point is right there. You may need to add zeros to the right. You can add as many as you need to. Alright, how many times will 3 go into 4? 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract. You're going to have a remainder of 1. Bring down your 9. How many times will 3 go into 19? That'll be 6 times, because 3 times 6 is 18. Subtract. You're going to have 1 left over. Bring down your 0. 3 will go into 10 how many times? 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. And so on and so forth. So, your answer is going to be about 163. That looks like a little 1. That's actually a comma from up here. Alright, so hopefully that helps you understand how to add and subtract decimals, multiply decimals, and divide by a decimal. If you're dividing by a whole number, you don't have to do the over part. You just take the decimal point and you put it straight up. Like so. Alright, so hopefully that makes sense. You guys, let's talk about reducing fractions and mixed numbers. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about this problem. We have 4/5 plus 5/5. Whenever you're adding fractions, I like rewriting them so that they're up and down. We got 4/6 plus 5/6. If you're multiplying fractions, you just multiply straight across. But adding fractions, we want them up and down. So you take 4 plus 5, you add the numerators, that's going to be 9, and then the denominator stays the same. We already have a common denominator, 6, 6, 6. Alright, so 9/6. This is improper, and it can also be reduced. You can do it one of two ways. You can reduce first, or you can change it to a mixed number. I'm going to reduce. I'm going to divide top and bottom by the greatest common factor, which is 3. 3 is a factor of 9, and 3 is a factor of 6. Since if you divide top by 3, you got to divide bottom by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this reduces to 3/2. Then you do top divided by bottom. And in that situation, you're going to take 3 divided by 2. 2 will go into 3 one time. 2, 1. So then you're going to do this the fraction way. So the remainder is going to go on top, and the divisor is going to go on bottom. So your answer is going to be 1 and 1/2. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. Sometimes you'll have to add fractions that have whole numbers. When you have a fraction and a whole number mixed together, that is known as a mixed number. So, you add the fractions first. 4 plus 5 is 9. This is going to be 9/6. And then if you have 7 plus 2, that's also going to be 9. So this is 9 and 9/6. So we already know that 9/6 is 1.5. So, if I were to reduce and change this improper fraction to a proper fraction, you would have 1 and 1/2, but don't forget your whole number. So you got to add in your 9. So the problem like this would end up looking like the answer would be 10 and 1/2. Alright, that's a little bit different variation. A lot of times on your homework, your homework takes what you learn in class and it applies it, and it makes you the application of what you learned is a little bit more difficult than the actual problems that we learn in class. So this is an example of applying, how to take 9/6, change it into a mixed number that's reduced, and then also having a whole number that you need to add back in to get 10.5. Alright, here's a couple problems from your homework. Number 2, a turkey must cook for 4 hours and 45 minutes. The family is coming at 3 o'clock. When should you put the turkey in? Alright, so count back from 3 o'clock. Let's say 4 hours. 4 hours back. So 3, 2, 1, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So at 11 o'clock, that would be 4 hours back. But we need to go 4 hours and 45 minutes back. So let's go 45 minutes back from 11 o'clock, and we know that that would be 10:15 a.m. So make sure that you start prepping that turkey at probably around 10, maybe even 9:30. Prep the turkey, put it in at 10:15, bang, should be done at 3. Alright, this next problem, number 3 on your homework, says this guy, Barry or somebody, ate 1/4 of a pie in 7 seconds. So this works out to be kind of like a multiplication problem. So if you have 1/4 in 7 seconds, 2/4 would be in 14 seconds, 3/4 is going to be in 21 seconds, and 4/4 is going to be in 28 seconds. So the whole pie, which is 4/4 of a pie, is going to take him 28 seconds to eat. That's if he continues at this same rate, where that's 1/4 of a pie for 7 seconds. Alright, basketball team scores 47, 52, 63, and 66 points. This next problem wants to know the mean and the range. Now, mean is, whenever you hear the word mean, that is the same thing as average. So we're going to add this up. 47. Alright, once you add it up, it's going to be 47, 52, 63, 66. Add it up, and you're going to have 228. So 228 points this team has scored in 4 games. Now, we're going to take 228, and that's going to be our dividend, and our divisor is going to be 4, since there's been 4 games. 4 can't go into 2, but 4 can go into 22 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract. You have a remainder of 2. Bring down the 8. 4 will go into 28 7 times, because 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract them, no remainder. So the mean is going to be 57 points. So for the range, all you got to do is take the smallest score and subtract it from the largest score. So I'm going to take 66, subtract 47, you're going to have to borrow. 16 minus 7 is 9. That becomes a 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. So the range is going to be 19 points. Alright, number 5 is an algebra problem with decimals. Alright, so if I have 375 thousandths times some random number, which we call x, and that equals 37 and 5/10. What did I multiply this by to get that? Alright, so in order to do that, you're going to divide both sides. And what's opposite? This is multiplication. A lot of people don't know that. Whenever you have a number and a letter next to each other, it's multiplication. So what's opposite multiplication? Division. I'm going to divide it by 375, because that cancels out, and all we have left is x. But if you divide this side by 375, you're going to divide this side by 375 thousandths. Alright, so then we have a division problem. Top divided by bottom. So this is top, which is 37 and 5/10 divided by 375 thousandths. Now I'm going to move the decimal. Now we got to do the over up method. 1, 2, 3, over. If I moved it 3 places here, they got to move it 3 places here. 1 over. Then up. Okay? So now we have, how many times will 375 go into 375? 1 time. 1 times 375 is 375. Subtract. All we have left is 0. Bring down to 0. How many times will that go into there? 0 times. How many times is that? 0 times. Sorry, I'm talking too fast here. Bring that down. How many times will that go into 0? 0 times. Add another 0. 0 times 375 is 0. Subtract. Remainder 0. So, hopefully this isn't too convoluted. Basically, our answer is x equals 100.